Hey guys, thanks for coming back again. If you are a subscriber and if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, just do us a favor by clicking on the subscribe button and also on the notification bell to notify you when we drop a new video. And you can do more by sharing this content, comment, and like our videos. You're welcome. So now we want to look at a very simple ideology and fact that is that is not new and probably is hidden and is well known by mathematicians. But okay, let's say we need to just explain it in a very simple way for us to understand. So now integral is a form of addition as well. Integral, or let's say integral sign or integration in general, has a lot of applications, but we can use integral as a form of addition as well. So now let's look at this typical example we want to talk about. The question says 500 pieces of disc, each of radius 2 centimeter, are placed over each other to an height of 10 centimeter from a they form a cylinder actually after that. So then determine the volume of the cylinder. Okay, that's great. So what the question is saying is that let's assume we have a circular disc, and this disc has a radius of 2 centimeter. The radius of the disc is 2 centimeter. Okay, the radius of the disc is actually 2 centimeter. So in a nutshell, these discs are placed over each other to form a cylinder. So they are placed over each other. So we can actually look at this cylinder as a form of a lot of disc pile up to form it as a whole. So let's say up to 500 pieces. But when they compile them, at the end of the day, the height of the whole disc becomes 10 centimeter. That's great. So now we are going to determine the volume of that cylinder. Now the best way is, how do we know the volume of a particular disc? So and then we add it all together to get the whole volume of the cylinder. But the funniest thing is that we know the total height of all the discs together to be 10. So if we divide this by 500, we can actually get our values. That okay, this is 500. Okay, that is 10 rather, divided by 500. That will give us about, okay, that's 1 over 50. So the thickness of each disc is 1 over 50. So the thickness is equals to 1 over 50 in centimeter. So which means the volume of each disc, and that 1 over 50 is 0.02. Let's put it that way, 0.02 centimeter. That is the thickness of the disc. So now, what is the volume of each disc? Each disc, we have a volume which is equals to pi r squared h, and the h happens to be the thickness of the disc. So if I have this, I'm going to be having, let me leave my answer in terms of pi. So I'm going to have pi r multiplied by r is now 2. Okay, let's make that 2 raised to power 2. That's dots. Then the height of each disc, that's each small disc, will now be times 0.02. So this will be 4 times 0.02 times pi. Anyway, we are leaving our answer in terms of pi. So 4 times 0.02 is 0.08 pi. That's the volume of just a single disc. So now, if this is the volume of just a single disc, good. What is the volume of 500 discs that are placed together to give this height? So we can just add them. This in 500 places, we had 0.08 pi plus 0.08 pi, of which we can actually call 0.08 pi times 500. So if we multiply 0.08 with 500, this should give us 40 pi. This is 40 pi. I actually got 40 pi as the volume of the whole disk compiled together. That is 40 pi centimeter cube. Good. But this is a form of addition, of which when we know the volume of each disk, then we add it up to one after the other, up to 500 of them, to get 40 pi as our answer. Now, let us try the integration method and see if we get the same answer. Okay? By the method of integration, I know that the volume is pi r squared h. So let us assume we don't know the thickness of the disk. So that thickness is a very small value of thickness. So let us call that anything very small in value. In calculus, we represent it by d. So the thickness now will be represented as dy. The reason why it is y is because the thickness is based on, if I place a disk down, so the thickness of the disk is a vertical thickness. So I call it dy. So which means the volume of that small disk will also be dv, which is equal to, the thickness is the height of the disk, so we can call that pi r square dy. So this is, according to this formula, small volume of the disk is equals to pi r squared, that is the radius of the disk, multiplied by the small thickness, which is the height of the disk. So now, how do we get the thickness, the volume of the whole 500 placed over each other? We have to introduce an integral sign, and we were told that when they were placed together, they form an height of 10 centimeters, so we can actually integrate this side and integrate this side. But while integrating this side, we take the limit from 0 to 10. So the integral here cancels this, then we have v. All equals to, so then if I want to integrate this, pi is constant, and we know that r is also 2 in value as given to us in the question. So which means the integral is going to be 0 to 10 of, here will be what? 4 pi dy. And don't forget, 4 pi is also a constant, so we can actually get rid of that 4 pi out of the integral. So v becomes integral of 4 pi integral of dy from 0 to 10. So now this is the integral, so let us evaluate it. So v will be equals to 4 pi, then the limit is 0 to 10 of y. So because the integral has cancelled it here as well, so let's substitute the limit. I'll be having 4 pi into bracket 10 into y will be this, and 0 into y will be 0. So by subtracting this, I'll be having 4 pi multiplied by 10, and that is, okay, this is what? 40 pi centimeter cube. So therefore, did you agree with the saying that says integral is a form of addition? Know these facts. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's free. Thank you.